We've heard in the last few minutes from the Chancellor, Alistair Darling, a brief holding statement in which he essentially says that the government have been working closely with the Governor of the Bank of England and the Financial Services Authority to put banks on a longer-term sound footing. Let's just listen again to what Alistair Darling's been saying in the last few moments.
The Bank of England has been putting substantial sums into the markets today, and it's ready to do more when that's needed. Now, as I said in the House of Commons on Monday, we've been working closely with the Governor of the Bank of England, with the Financial Services Authority and financial institutions to put the banks on a longer-term sound footing. Now, I intend to make a statement before the markets open tomorrow morning, and I'll be making a statement in the House of Commons later in the day.
So there we are, the Chancellor, Alistair Darling, with that statement just a few minutes ago. So, clear signs of economic gloom on the high street, but are we in danger sometimes of talking ourselves even deeper into a financial crisis? Well, as people become more panicky, does it simply make the market more volatile? Well, Mike West is a Professor of Organisational Psychology at the Aston Business School, and he joins us from our Sheffield studio. Very good evening to you. And first of all, we've had this statement, a holding statement anyway, from the government, and we're understanding that there is a comprehensive rescue package for the banking system. In terms of talking, I guess that's going to talk the markets up, isn't it?
Yes, I think so. I think we have to remember that there is a lot of anxiety around, and that anxiety is highly contagious. It's making ordinary people out there in the street anxious because they hear loose talk about Armageddon and meltdown and don't really know what that means. So we need clear statements from our leaders about what the challenges are that we're facing, and then really strong, confident statements about the fact that this country can and will survive this crisis and will come through stronger. And then we also need very clear and courageous statements about the decisive action that the government will take to deal with the problem. And my sense is that many governments have been taking half measures up till now. And what we need is a clear, courageous, decisive path forward that people can see is reassuring. And hopefully that's what's going to happen tomorrow morning.
And when you say there's been loose talk that's been doing damage to the economy, I mean, who do you blame for that kind of loose talk?
Well, our leaders, for example, George Bush was talking about, our economy is at stake in this situation when he was trying to get the bill through Congress last week. We also hear, commentators talking about Armageddon and, as I say, meltdown, which we associate with nuclear power stations. That's very frightening for people in the street. So, there needs to be, from banking leaders, from people in the financial markets, more responsibility about the kind of language that's used, so ordinary people clearly understand what the problems are, and that we don't use these highly emotive terms which simply spread the feeling of fear around. And at the root of this problem is fear and lack of confidence.
But there is I mean, you say that, but I mean, for example, President Bush probably felt compelled to use pretty extreme language. He was trying to get his bailout plan through Congress, wasn't he, against pretty stiff opposition?
Yeah, but you have to understand that human beings are first and foremost emotional creatures, and ordinary people feel anxiety, they feel concerns, and when leaders aren't being realistically optimistic with them, telling them clearly what the challenge is, but then being optimistic and confident about the way forward and about how we have the strengths to move forward, then our leaders are failing us. We pay our leaders, we choose our leaders to be decisive and effective at times of crisis. I think generally they've not been so far. I hope that what we see tomorrow is decisive, courageous, positive action that reassures the people of this country and people in neighbouring countries as well.
All right, Mike West, Professor of Organisational Psychology at Aston Business School. Very good to talk to you. Thank you for your thoughts.